Today I'm going to talk about shoes. I've received a question from a follower and I'm going to answer it here now. Hello, I'm Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm in front of my new closet space today. Looking clean and organized. Not always the case, but the doors are open. And today I'm going to answer a question that a follower asked. I'm going to cover it here today and just kind of dig into it a little bit. And if you're not familiar with me and my work, I'm a style and mindset coach. And that means that I help women create wardrobes they absolutely love wearing. I do that here and on Instagram and to my email list by sharing tips and tricks and coaching through topics like the one I'm going to address today. And I also work one-on-one with clients. And I do that in a program called Style Therapy. The link is down below with all the details for Style Therapy so that you can get an idea of what it is and how it might help you. And then if you would like to take it further, there is a 1-hour free consult call that I offer. We can hop on that call and I can help you see what your struggle kind of really is. We can kind of dig into it a little bit. And then I can talk you through the process of style therapy and help you decide if it's a good fit for you right now. The work that I do always addresses the style, and I have been in closets and fitting rooms with women for over 20 years, so I understand where to shop and how to edit and how to organize a closet and how to put together great outfits and how to pack for a trip, how to get dressed for a special occasion with ease. I understand all of that and I can easily teach and coach on that. And I also know now, after lots and lots of time with women, that if we just do that work, and we fail to address the limiting beliefs and the mindset and the thought loops that are going on in a woman's mind, the wardrobe never shifts. The root of the problem doesn't ever get addressed. And so she has all these great outfits and she finds that she's still not wearing them. And it pains me. And I came to the mindset work because the wardrobe work that wasn't actually creating the transformation that my clients really wanted 7 years ago or so, when I started to really look at the mindset piece, it just felt like I was falling short. And so now the mindset piece is an absolute part of it because every single one of us has some sort of limiting belief that has been running in the background. We maybe have been unaware of it for years, and it is preventing us from having truly authentic, fabulous style that lights us up every time we get dressed. So let's jump into the question today. So the question I received was, and I'm just going to I took a couple of notes, but I'm really going to do this kind of off the cuff. For about 2 years, I did a style Q&A over on Instagram. I did a live Q&A every Tuesday. I am not doing that anymore, and I currently don't have plans to bring that back, but I really want to still be able to address your questions. So whether you ask a question here in the comments below, or whether you ask a question over on Instagram when I put up a question box, or just DM me, doesn't matter to me how I get the questions. I am going to continue to answer them here so that you can have kind of the deep dive overview of what I really think about your question, and hopefully my answer is helpful. So today's question, or kind of style struggle, is shoes, staying current and comfortable. How do I stay current and comfortable with regard to shoes? So this is a really great topic, and one that is certainly a pretty common topic. I find that when I work with clients, when we get to the shoe portion of the edit, I find that the most common situation is that women have paid a lot more attention to what they wear on the upper part of their body. And by the time they get down to their shoes, for whatever reason, and there are many different reasons, their shoe collection is not, it's not par with their clothing collection and possibly their accessory collection. The shoes have been neglected. They have kind of overlooked that category. I find that oftentimes it is because women really require comfort in shoes. Most often, that's an area where it's a non-negotiable that shoes must be comfortable. And so if they've taken a while to get the shoes to be comfortable, they tend to not want to try different shoes because they don't want to have to risk the breaking in period and all of that. Shoes can also be expensive. They can sometimes be more expensive than the other elements of the outfit. So if there's any price, situation where you don't feel great spending $100 or, more money on an item or 2 items in the case of shoes, shoes might be something that you tend to not shop for. You tend, like this person, to maybe not have any idea how to continue to look current and have shoes that are relevant as styles change. And so you just kind of avoid wearing, buying new shoes and continue to wear what you already have. I find that the other thing that's interesting is that shoes are usually neglected when it comes to caring for them. They're not polished. They're usually kind of dusty. They're, if they're not worn often, but women tell me, oh, those are one of my favorite pair, but they're covered with dust because they don't come out of the closet very often. They're not taken to a shoemaker if they have a sole issue or if they're torn or, stained. They're not maintained. And so then not only may they maybe not be current, but the whole outfit kind of is lacking something when you put on a pair of shoes that aren't actually cared for and polished and tidy looking. It just kind of is incongruent when you're trying to put together a great outfit and the other pieces are working. I grew up with a father who loved to polish shoes. I can remember even as a kid, I would put my shoes out the night before and he would polish them, pretty regularly. And I actually love to polish shoes. I like taking care of my shoes. I'm sure that is a way that I stay close to my dad, who is no longer alive. I have actually from his shoe care kit, I have the brushes that he used when he used to polish my shoes. So I have a fondness for shoe polish and polishing shoes and the smell of shoe polish and the whole process. You don't have to have that same fondness. However, if you're not taking care of your shoes, it can really tank an outfit quickly to have a pair of shoes on that are dated looking, plus whether they're dated or whether they're current, if they're not cared for and maintained and look polished, but in the sense that they're clean and tidy and cared for, the whole outfit can kind of look like you're not put together. So shoes are something that I enjoy kind of diving into with women because oftentimes it's one of two categories. They either have way too many shoes and they never wear all of them ever, and they're never going to wear all of them, but they hang on to them. There's some security in shoes, or kind of Imelda Marcos, long ago with all the shoes, or they only have a couple pair and they resist buying new shoes and they just make do with the few pair that they have, knowing that when they get dressed, they feel like the shoe part is kind of the weak link and that the shoes are missing. They don't really solve the problem. So today I want to talk about shoes and making sure that your shoes feel current and also comfortable. So comfortable, the first thing I'm going to say about comfort is I personally do not buy any shoes that I would not wear out of the store based on their comfort. I don't ever purchase shoes that I think, well, I'm just going to have to break these in. Like once these break in, I will enjoy them and wear them and love them. There is a very expensive shoe brand that I see lots of influencers, especially over on Instagram, posting about, sharing about, talking about, sharing codes for. The shoes are beautiful. They are beautifully made. And yet I have repeatedly heard these influencers talk about the fact that they need to wear Band-Aids preemptively to prepare for the blisters and the rubbing that inevitably happens with this brand of shoe as they're breaking them in. These shoes are $400 plus per pair. I find that absolutely ridiculous that you would spend $400 on a pair of shoes and then those shoes would require you to wear Band-Aids the first several times you wear them to break them in. That just doesn't work for me. You can tell I feel pretty strongly about this. This might work for other women. Clearly it works for all these influencers. They're fine with it, it seems, that when they talk about it. And yet I just find that absurd. There is just no way that I want to spend $40 on a pair of shoes that I have to wear a Band-Aid with until my foot gets used to them. I believe that there are enough shoe options out there because I have tried this and tested it that I will not purchase a pair of shoes that and I'm kind of thinking as I'm speaking to make sure I'm not misspeaking, I won't purchase shoes that I wouldn't wear out of the store based on their comfort. I don't want shoes that I have to break in. And a long time ago, I purchased, probably been now 7 years-ish, I purchased a pair of brown Oxfords from Frye, brand known for really great leather goods and boots and that sort of thing. They've been around forever. The shape, the style is called Aran. I would buy them again immediately. When I bought them, they were more expensive than I usually spend, more money than I usually spend on a pair of shoes. They were over $100. And I waited to wear them because I ordered them online. I hadn't tried them on, before. I did try them on when I first received them and they fit. And for some reason, I was concerned that they might not be comfortable enough to wear to Anthropologie all day and be on my feet and work retail and all of that. So I waited and I waited and I waited probably 6 weeks before I ever wore this brand new pair of shoes that I actually really loved. And when I finally wore them, they were like bedroom slippers. I thought, you have wasted 6 weeks when you could have been wearing these fabulous shoes. They are sitting on the floor behind me. They are right here. They still get lots of wear. I have them resold. I would buy them again in a minute. They have been fantastic. They were more comfortable than I could ever have imagined, brand new out of the box. And yet I was hesitant still at that point about whether or not they would be comfortable. They were comfortable with no socks, with no insoles, with no Band-Aids. That's how I want my shoes. I believe comfort is a given. It's sort of like the Wheel of Fortune and Vanna White and Pat Sajak and what the given consonants are. That it's a given. We're not going to entertain shoes that are not comfortable. That is firmly what I believe. Now I understand that there are some women, I have clients who have some neuropathy or some things going at bunions or ingrown toenails or have had some sort of surgery on their foot, who have things that are going on with their feet where shoes aren't as comfortable automatically as they maybe used to be or as they are for other women. So certainly I am empathetic and understanding, and when we shop, we pay special attention to making sure that we are finding brands and shapes that are really going to support the situation with her foot. So I'm not saying that everybody at every age should just be able to wear any shoe from Target and it should be comfortable. Not at all. There are times when it is really important to find the brand or brands that work best for your foot shape, for your foot situation. That said, I also think they should be comfortable. So I have a client who has had several knee surgeries. She can really only wear a sneaker. So we have worked very hard to create an incredible sneaker collection for her, or sneaker-like shoe collection for her, so that she can wear them with dresses. She can even wear them to an event, to a wedding. They work on her foot like a sneaker, but they're a little bit elevated, whether they're a metallic or whatever. And it's just part of her style because her body can't tolerate any other kind of shoe. So it's not that I don't understand that there are comfort limitations, and yet I believe that within your situation, you should be trying to find the most comfortable shoes off the top. You don't want to have to waste time and have your feet hurt trying to break in a pair of shoes. So comfort is a given. That said, let's talk about staying current. Let's talk about how to have your shoes feel relevant and current within your wardrobe. So the first thing I'm going to say, which I mentioned at the top, I'm going to reiterate the fact that taking care of your shoes makes an enormous difference. Because when you have a pair of shoes, whether they are still considered super trendy or current, or whether they are a little bit more dated and worn, if they have been taken care of and they have been polished and maintained and they still look like new, those shoes are going to finish the outfit, any outfit, much better than a pair of shoes, even a trendier, more, quote, current, because they've been released more recently, that is more run down and not polished and scuffed and look kind of crummy. That's going to tank an outfit way faster than a pair of more dated shoes that are well maintained. I just fundamentally believe that. I don't think that our shoes should look like junk. I think that we should make sure that our shoes look as great as the rest of our outfit. So that said, once we take comfort as a given and polishing and taking care of your shoes as a given, and on that note, it is very simple, whether at Target or on Amazon or at Walmart or even at the grocery store, to get some basic shoe care things. Like you can get a shoe polish kit pretty easily, and you're gonna have a brush and you're gonna have some polish and you're gonna have a couple of cloths where you can put the shoe polish on and then brush them off, buff them off with the soft cloth, the kind of chamois. There are, I promise you, thousands of videos on how to polish a shoe and what to put in a shoe care kit. So I'm not going to get into that deeply here. And I will tell you that I have had, Greta thrifted a pair of LL Bean kind of winter boots that kind of are sort of an off orangey brown. I looked online and found a few orangey brown shoe polishes, picked the one that I thought would match the best. For about $4, it was delivered to my, the polish was about $4. It was delivered for free to my house, and it polished the boots up beautifully. So if you can't find, colorful polish and you have something colored, some pair of colored shoes that you need to polish, you can usually find that on Amazon pretty easily at this point for under $5 or $10. Shoe polish goes a long way, and making it kind of a ritual to take care of your shoes goes a long way. So that said, let's talk current and relevant. I'm really the wrong person to ask. Maybe I should have said that at the very top. I am not someone who tends to care so much about the currentness or the relevance with regard to trendy and most recent and most fashionable shoe. Like, that isn't really that important to me. I tend to err much more in this category of shoes specifically, but really throughout my wardrobe, I tend to err more on the side of really classic, really traditional, tailored, well-made shoes that have a timelessness to them. I am not someone, I've never purchased a pair of kind of the real puffy, braided slides or sandals that have now been popular the last several summers. They're just not for me. Doesn't mean I've never seen them on someone and thought, oh, those look cute with that outfit. I'm probably never going to buy them. They are too trendy for me. The same is true with mules. I have never owned a pair of mules. I probably never will. I have a pretty narrow foot, and they don't stay on my foot well. I don't like them enough on me to try to find a pair that will stay on my foot well. I can look at another woman and think they look chic on her. I don't need them in my wardrobe. So I am not always the best person to ask for recommendations of super current, trendy shoe types, although I'm very aware of what they are because I shop and I pay attention to that and it's my business, and I shop for clients, and clients who want something more trendy, I'm very capable of sourcing those pieces for them. It's just that for me personally, I feel that there are, 8 or 9 shoe types that I am going to continue to repeat probably for the rest of my life. I'm going to list what those are, and then I'm going to talk about how to stay current sort of within those categories. The first one, let's start with ballet flat. So I believe that a ballet flat is never going out of style. There are always going to be women, specifically chic French women, who are wearing a ballet flat. That said, that ballet flat could be classic black. It could be patent leather. It could be red. It could be leopard. It could be navy blue. It could be pale pink. It could be pale blue. It could be nude. There are lots of ways to do a classic ballet flat. It could have a little heel. It could have a bow. It could have no bow and no heel. There are so many options out there. I believe that a great ballet flat is really timeless and is never going out of style. I feel the same way about a loafer. That said, there are different times when different types of loafers kind of circulate and gain popularity, in different seasons. Recently, loafers have had kind of a chunkier heel and been a little more substantial and kind of on trend with a chunkier menswear version, making a sleeker, more thin-soled, low-heeled loafer look a little dated in some cases. Yet I still have the Sam Edelman Lorraine loafer that I've had for several years. It is a classic style. It is not trendy. It doesn't have big lug sole. And yet when I wear it, I feel great. I'm not sorry that I have it. I'm not looking to replace it. It's black with gold hardware. It works for me. So those two specifically, ballet flat and a great loafer. It could be a penny loafer. It could be a tassel loafer. There are lots of ways to do it. You can wear it with a dress and a skirt, wear it with a pair of jeans or a pair of trousers. I just believe in classic shoes that finish an outfit well. There are also lace-up Oxfords like the one from Frye that I showed. Lots of different ways to do that, all the way into like a saddle shoe or, something that has a little bit more interest and color. I used to have a beautiful pair. They were like Easter eggs. I had a beautiful pair of pretty ladylike, delicate Oxfords that were almost patchwork in their leather, kind of a pale pink and a pale blue. And the lace was a beautiful piece of pink satin ribbon. I love those shoes. I could wear them with skirts. I could wear them with jeans. So I've always kind of tended toward that. And that was easily 2 decades ago, probably 2.5 decades ago, maybe 3 decades ago. So I've always had this same sensibility about my shoes. And I just keep picking new pairs that work with my current wardrobe, that maybe my wardrobe's never trendy, but my wardrobe feels a little more like it's pushing towards something more modern or trendy. And my shoes tend to stay pretty classic. In addition, I love a great sneaker. Currently, white sneakers are still having a moment. Sambas of every color, Adidas Sambas of every color are certainly having a moment. They're going to make you look current and trendy with one change, and comfortable because they're a sneaker, one change of a shoe, an instant. And there are lots of options out there. If a white sneaker, of any type, or a Samba isn't what you're after, there are lots of ways that you can incorporate a great, fun, funky sneaker or really classic, simple sneaker into your outfits, both dresses and pants, that are going to make you look more current and more relevant in this current world. I work with lots of women who are my age and older, and they can struggle with this white sneaker idea. Like, really, a white sneaker with navy blue trousers and a sweater? Yes. And every single one of them who has adopted this new look of a sneaker with something that's maybe a little bit more elevated has written to me, sent me pictures, and shared how excited they are because their feet are comfortable and they feel more current and a little bit on trend, and yet the look is still authentic for them. And then sandals. I'm not a huge sandal wearer, but certainly when it's really hot or when I'm on vacation and it's warm, I tend to wear a sandal. I like, one kind that stays on my foot because again, my foot is narrow and sandals sometimes end up really sloppy. I love the way a beautiful thong sandal that looks like it was made, in the south of France, custom made for a woman. I love the way that looks on a foot, yet they're not comfortable for me. My foot slides all over. So finding a sandal that is your vibe, that works for your foot, that is comfortable to walk in, that, the colors are appropriate. Those sandals that have been made specifically in Italy and in the south of France and in Greece for centuries, they're not trendy, but they're current because they're still relevant because they're such classic, beautifully made pieces that they still work with any sort of trendy, dress, pant, skirt, shorts option that you would put them with. The next thing is boots. Obviously, lots of different kinds of boots. Tall riding boots will always have a place somewhere. Boots tend to kind of go through the motion. It'll be more moto inspired boots or more little Chelsea boots or more, high, riding kind of boots. Boots tend to, peak different trends at different times, different boot shapes. And yet, if you wanted to wear a classic riding boot right now, yes, the conversation would then be around what to wear them with, because if skinny jeans are no longer the most current and you're someone who has always worn a tall boot with skinny jeans, then that gets a little bit muddy. But you could wear a long flowy skirt with your tall boots. There are other ways to go about it so that if you really feel best in a tall boot, you can still keep wearing that and look current. Little short booties, booties with a heel, flat boots. There are lots of ways to do boots and they're never going out of style. There are lots of ways to do a heel. Most women I work with don't wear heels anymore. Totally understandable. But if you want or need, you believe for some sort of an occasion to wear, or for work to wear a heel of some sort, there are lots of ways to stay current with a heel. Although I own one pair of heels and they are a very classic black patent leather peep toe slingback that will never go out of style. That's always what I'm going to prefer. So the staying current with regard to shoes, certainly you can, like for instance, right now, that mesh flat Mary Jane, often embellished with like bedazzling, bejeweled, sparkly stuff, rhinestones and things all over them. That is very on trend. You can buy them on Amazon for probably under 20 bucks, and at DSW and at Nordstrom, all up the price range, to top of the line. I'm sure Neiman Marcus has them. I haven't looked to see if Christian Louboutin makes some, but probably he does. I am never wearing those. They are just not authentic for me. That is not a shoe that feels timeless and classic, and that's how I want my shoes to look and feel, is timeless and classic. And if I'm going to play with a trend, which is rare, I'm going to play with it in other areas of my wardrobe, not in my footwear. So that doesn't mean you can't try the real padded, braided sandals in bright colors at Target or wherever you find them. It doesn't mean you can't do the mesh bedazzled flat Mary Jane or the silver Mary Jane or a bright red Mary Jane. I think I do have a red Mary Jane on my wish list because I do know that a red shoe is good in my wardrobe, that I like the way it looks with the colors that I wear most often. And I like a little bit of a red kick, kind of fun, shoe, punchy color on my foot. I haven't begun to search for them in earnest. This style has now been out over a year, so I'm definitely not an early adopter. I may or may not ever come up with a pair of red Mary Janes. Probably it's about time for them to show up in thrift stores because people have had them and might be passing them on. So the odds are that I will be able to find a pair and I will report back if I add a pair. But my shoe collection tends to be much more classic than what I would consider current. Although I think current can just mean relevant and modern in the way that you wear it in the complete outfit. That said, there are styles that will look really dated, but they look really dated when they're paired with more dated things. If you're going to wear, a loafer that you would have worn 25 years ago to go to work with trousers and a silk blouse, but you put that loafer on now with a pair of boyfriend jeans that are kind of distressed, cuffed up, and a great turtleneck, it's a completely different look. And the age of those loafers and the kind of datedness does not actually make them outdated. It makes them very current when you wear them in a certain way. So I just think that they're in espadrilles for summer, since we're headed into summer where I live, a really great canvas shoe, sometimes with a braided kind of rope bottom, that are very classically sort of vacation vibe, warm country, handmade in warm country vibe. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful shoe. It's not ever trendy, even if someone decides to create a version. Boat shoe right now is having a moment. All I saw all winter was, you need a pair of boat shoes for spring. Boat shoes, boat shoes, boat shoes. I had boat shoes, tied the little knot that looked like a little spiral knot with the leather in high school and middle school. I don't personally right this minute feel like I need boat shoes. They're on trend and they're classic, but I don't need them in my wardrobe. All of that to say, comfort is first. Make sure that the shoes are comfortable, whatever your foot situation is, your body situation, and what that requires of your footwear. Make sure you address that first. There is no reason to have on a pair of trendy shoes or, more current, relevant, modern shoes that are really uncomfortable and are causing more footwear problem or more problem for your back or your hips or your knees. So comfort is first and an absolute given and really a non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. And then the current side of shoes is really making sure you take care of them and that you have shoes that you love wearing and that feel authentic. If a mesh ballet flat or a mesh Mary Jane that has rhinestone studs all over it is the greatest thing you've ever seen and you absolutely love it and it feels 100% authentic and satisfies some internal yearning for you and you don't know how you ever lived without this shoe for so long, rock that shoe. That is not my case with that type of a shoe, but that doesn't mean that needs to be true for you. It's really a matter of tapping into the authenticity. Oxfords are authentic for me. Ballet flats are authentic for me. White sneakers are authentic for me. Little easy, comfortable, simple boots are authentic for me. Oxfords, did I say Oxfords? Oxfords are authentic for me. Loafers are authentic for me. I want that. I want to know the shoe that I already understand and love how it works in my wardrobe. And then I want to continue to replace it with a version that feels like what I want to wear today. Certainly, I have shoes in my closet that are many years old, but they're still in my closet because I take good care of them and they still feel relevant when I put them on with an outfit. So I hope that helps. I would love to hear what your story is. When it comes to shoes, do you have a gigantic pile and none of them are matched and it's like just this big mound of shoes in your closet and you have to dig around and really only ever pull the same couple? I've seen lots of that. Are you on the other side of the camp where you really just have one or two pairs of shoes that you wear and the thought of buying more shoes is just so overwhelming you're not ever interested in doing it and you feel stuck when you try to get dressed because you just have these 2 pair or 4 pair that you just keep wearing but they're not really cutting it? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear more about how other women deal with the same style struggle and the same stuff. Do you go for comfort only with shoes? Do you tend to buy shoes that need to be broken in? Do you own some of those really expensive shoes that you had to wear Band-Aids? I would love to know. I love hearing your feedback and I love your comments and I read every single one, even if it takes me a little bit of time to reply. I always try to respond or reply. So thank you. Keep your comments coming. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful week and I'll be back next Friday. Thank you so much for watching.